You did not arrive here by accident. This is not a beautiful opening line. It is literally what quantum physics calls coherence, the state in which distant particles align without any visible force pushing them. You were aligned to this moment, and something inside you already feels that. Think for a second about everything that brought you here. The affirmations you repeated in front of the mirror, the vision boards you created, the meditations you did on nights when you couldn't sleep, the times you declared to the universe what you wanted and waited and waited, and nothing seemed to truly change. You did not fail, but you were taught incorrectly. There is a brutal difference between the law of attraction the world sold you and the law of attraction that actually works. It's not a difference in effort. It's not a matter of faith. It's a matter of frequency, and more specifically, which frequency you are emitting without realizing it, while believing you are emitting another. Most people who study manifestation operate in exactly the wrong state. And the paradox is this: the more you try to attract, the more you push away. The more intensely you desire, the more you signal to the quantum field that you still don't have it. The problem is not you. The problem is what you call attraction. If you arrived at this video, you have been on a real search. This is not the first time you've opened yourself to this subject. There is a journey here, a sequence of attempts, hopes, small results that came and disappeared, questions that were never fully answered. Every meditation you did, every book you read, every visualization you attempted, all of it was part of a preparation you didn't see happening. You were being calibrated for this moment. Less than 1% of people who seek real transformation reach the level of understanding you are about to access. Not because they are less capable, but because most give up right before the breakthrough, when resistance is at its peak, when exhaustion speaks louder, when doubt sounds like the most rational voice in the room. If you close this video now, you will be wasting the very preparation that brought you here. But here is the paradox that will stay with you for the next 40 minutes. If the law of attraction is real, and it is, why does it seem to work less the more consciously you practice it? Why did the most powerful results in your life come when you weren't trying? Why does it feel like the universe responds better to surrender than to effort? The answer to this will reorganize everything you believe about how reality works. But before understanding what is changing, we need to look at what has always been holding you back. There is a behavior almost every law of attraction practitioner repeats. You will probably recognize it in yourself. You feel what you want. You visualize in detail. You add emotion. You repeat affirmations. You monitor signs. And at some point, almost imperceptibly, you begin checking if it worked. You look at results. You compare what is still missing. You feel a sting of impatience, and you restart the cycle with even more intensity. That is not a lack of faith. It is a lack of information about how the quantum field actually operates, because there is a fundamental difference between the energy of wanting and the energy of receiving. The energy of wanting starts from an unconscious and devastating premise that what you desire does not yet exist in your reality. And that is exactly the premise the quantum field captures. Not your words, not your mental images. It captures the underlying emotional state, the soil in which those seeds are planted. The energy of wanting says, I don't have it yet. The energy of receiving says, it is already on its way. It sounds subtle, it is not. Think of a radio. You can turn the dial with all the intention in the world, but if the antenna is tuned to one frequency and the station broadcasts on another, what you hear is static. Not because the signal doesn't exist, but because there is incompatibility between transmission and reception. The law of attraction works the same way. The universe does not respond to what you ask for. It responds to what you are. And here is what no one openly says. Most conventional manifestation practices, affirmations, vision boards, gratitude journals, when done in the wrong state, reinforce the very frequency of lack you want to overcome. You declare, I am abundant, while feeling that you are not. The field registers the feeling, not the word. You were taught to practice manifestation with the mind. The truth is that manifestation happens in the body. But here is what most people stop listening to, and it is exactly what changes everything. The solution is not to try to feel differently. It is not to force a positive emotional state that does not match your lived experience. That would simply be another layer of performance over a frequency that has not changed. The solution is to understand the mechanism, the real process by which the field responds. Because when you understand how it truly works, you stop fighting it, and you start working with it. Quantum physics has a concept called superposition. Before being observed, an electron is not in one place. It is in all possible places simultaneously. The moment it is observed, it collapses into a single state. Observation is what creates reality from a field of possibilities. I won't go into technical details. What matters for you now is the implication. The reality you live is not the only reality available to you. It is the reality that has been collapsed by the quality of your observation, by the attention you give to what already exists instead of what could exist. Think of a river. The current of a river is not created by the bank you stand on. It already existed before you arrived. You can swim against it with all your strength and move inches, or you can understand the direction of the current and move with it, and travel miles with the same effort. The law of attraction is the current. Most people spend their lives swimming against it, convinced they are practicing swimming. The real mechanism works like this. Your internal emotional state creates a pattern of brain waves that affects how you perceive opportunities around you. It is not magic. It is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself according to the patterns you repeat. A brain calibrated to scarcity filters out opportunities for abundance. A brain calibrated to reception sees them with clarity that seems supernatural. The quantum field is not external to you. You are part of it. And what you experience as reality is the mirror of what you emit consistently. Not with intensity, but with consistency. Pause. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath now. Feel this in your body for a moment. You do not need more willpower. You need a different frequency. And frequency does not change through effort. It changes through recognition. But when you truly understand this, you realize there is an obstacle no one mentions. A block that is not lack of belief, not lack of practice, not karma or destiny. It is something far more specific and far easier to resolve when you know what you're looking at. What blocks you is not what you think it is. The fatal error of manifestation is not in your practices. It is in what happens between the practices. You meditate for 20 minutes. You visualize with clarity and emotion. You feel the reality you want to create. You finish in a state of peace. And then you open your eyes and return to the same internal dialogue as always. The same thought patterns, the same automatic reactions, the same background monologue evaluating, comparing, fearing. 20 minutes of elevated frequency, 23 hours and 40 minutes of default frequency. The field records the average, not the peak. It is like heating a glass of water for 20 minutes and then pouring it into a cold ocean. The temperature of the ocean does not change. But if you heat the entire ocean, even by a few degrees, everything changes. The obstacle is not your manifestation practice. It is your background identity. There is a voice inside you, so familiar you confuse it with yourself, that constantly evaluates what is possible for you. That voice was built over years of experiences, comparisons, disappointments, things you tried that did not work. It is not your enemy. It was created to protect you. But it operates from an old premise, from a version of you that existed before you understood what you understand now. Your resistance is not the enemy. It is the last guardian before the treasure. This guardian appears in different forms. Sometimes as intellectual skepticism. This is naive. Sometimes as impatience. It's been months and nothing has changed. Sometimes as comparison. It works for others, not for me. In all forms, the underlying message is the same. You do not deserve it, or you are not capable. And here is the binary contrast that defines everything. Scarcity identity versus field identity. Scarcity identity constantly calculates what is missing, what might go wrong, what has not arrived yet. Field identity operates from a state of wholeness. not because everything is perfect, but because it recognizes reality as fluid and responsive to the internal state. But here is the paradox I have not yet resolved for you. If background identity is built through years of conditioning, how do you change it? Not with more affirmations. We have already demonstrated that does not work when done in the wrong state. Not with willpower. Identity does not change through conscious effort. So how? What actually dissolves an identity pattern that has existed for decades? That is the question most manifestation teachings avoid answering, because the answer is counterintuitive. And it is exactly what I am about to show you. If you have made it this far, you are already doing something different from most. Keep going. So how do you pass the last guardian? Here is what changes everything. The counterintuitive answer is this. You do not change the background identity by trying to replace it. You dissolve it by stopping feeding it with attention. Every identity exists because it receives continuous energy. Scarcity identity survives because you keep having thoughts about what is missing, conversations about what does not work, comparisons about where you should be. Every time you feed that pattern, even unconsciously, you renew the contract with it. The solution is not to fight those thoughts, not to replace them with positive affirmations. It is to recognize that you are having them and not act from them. There is a 3-second practice that begins dissolving the background identity pattern. It is simple, it is executable now, and it is exactly the opposite of what most people try to do. When a scarcity thought arises, this won't work, I still don't have it, this is for other people. Instead of denying or replacing it, do this, name it. Out loud or mentally say, that is a scarcity thought. That's it. Do not fight. Do not affirm the opposite. Do not analyze where it came from. Just name it. Neurologically, this is what happens. The act of naming a pattern activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for conscious observation, and withdraws power from the limbic system, where automatic patterns live. You are not suppressing the thought. You are changing your relationship to it. And it is this change in relationship, not the absence of the thought, that begins to reorganize the field. Take a deep breath. Before continuing, pause here. Take one deep breath. Now observe. Is there any scarcity thought active in you right now? About this subject? About your life? About what is possible for you? Do not judge it. Do not deny it. Just see it. Name it internally. That is a scarcity thought. Did you feel it? Something small, but real, shifts when you do this. It is not suppression. It is sovereignty. That resolves the most immediate level of the block, the automatic thought. But there is a deeper layer that determines whether this will last. Because changing one thought at a time is different from changing the soil in which those thoughts grow. And it is in the soil, in field identity, that manifestation happens permanently and consistently, not episodically. Comment the word field below. This is not just engagement. It is a declaration of intention. You are signaling to yourself and to the field that you recognize where change begins. And that deeper layer? It is where everything you have learned becomes permanent or disappears in days. This is not new. It is simply described in different language depending on where you look. Tibetan Buddhism speaks of Rigpa, the state of awareness that recognizes the fundamental nature of mind without being captured by its contents. The practice is not eliminating thoughts. It is changing your relationship to them, seeing without identifying. Hermeticism, one of the oldest philosophical traditions of the West, describes the principle of correspondence. As within, so without, as above, so below. Not as poetic metaphor, as an operational law of reality. The internal state is the mold the external reality fills. Quantum physics, specifically work on quantum entanglement, shows that particles separated in space respond instantly to each other, regardless of distance. What that means in practical terms for consciousness is still debated by physicists, but the philosophical implication is clear. Separation may be an illusion of perspective, not a fundamental reality. And the shamanic teachings of South American indigenous traditions describe the world as a field of relationships, where the reality you inhabit is inseparable from the state of perception you bring to each moment. Tibetan Buddhism, Hermeticism, quantum physics, shamanism, traditions separated by millennia and continents, all saying the same thing. Why? Because they are not describing beliefs, they are describing how reality functions. Now bring this back to yourself. You are not trying to adopt a new belief. You are recognizing something that different cultures, in different eras, with different languages, converge to describe. You are not becoming more spiritual. You are becoming more precise in how you understand the relationship between who you are internally and what appears externally. The difference between episodic manifestation and consistent manifestation is not intensity of practice. It is continuity of state. It is the difference between a thread of light that appears and disappears and a light that remains, because the source is stable. The fundamental contrast here is between practicing manifestation and being manifestation. Practicing manifestation is what you do in reserved moments. Being manifestation is who you are in the space between practices, in conversations, in small decisions, in how you interpret an obstacle, in the quality of attention you bring to ordinary moments. Fertile soil does not need a special seed. It nourishes whatever falls into it. When your internal state becomes fertile soil, not performative soil but real soil, what you desire no longer needs to be attracted through effort. It simply finds the conditions to grow. And when you embody this, not as an idea, but as identity, something shifts that cannot be undone. You are not becoming someone new. You are recognizing who you have always been, before layers of conditioning, before years of being taught that reality is fixed, and that you are a passive observer of it. That recognition is not gradual. It happens in an instant. And when it happens, it cannot be undone, because you cannot unlearn what has been genuinely understood. We are those who choose to live from the receiving frequency, not because we are special, but because we consciously choose which state to feed. That is the only real distinction between those who manifest consistently and those who manifest episodically. You already are this, the moment you recognize it. Do not subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to this frequency of living. If this content is reorganizing something real inside you, press the subscribe button as an act of commitment to yourself, not to me. If this is resonating in your bones, if something here is not new but recognized, you know what to do. You reach the end of this video different from how you arrived at the beginning. Not because you learned something new, because you remembered something you always knew, that the distance between you and what you desire is not measured in effort. It is measured in state. And state is something you can choose at every moment, regardless of external circumstances. You are not separate from what you desire. You never were. Separation was an illusion sustained by an identity pattern you inherited, not chose. And now you have seen that pattern clearly enough for it to lose the power to operate on autopilot. Comment the word "field" below. One word. This seals the intention, not for me, but for you. What you discovered today is the foundation, but there is a layer that determines speed. The reason some people turn understanding into results in weeks, while others spend years with the same understanding. In the next video, I will show you why what you call an emotional block may not be what you think, and why trying to solve it in the conventional way is exactly what perpetuates it. The field is already responding. You just need to be present to receive.